Hey everybody, Satirian Leaf Spar here. So as you can see from the title, this is going to be the discussion of the two Davids and why I made the decision to reshell the original David into the new David, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And this is going to be a bit of a sensitive discussion for some people that may be new to my channel, new to my Instagram, as compared to long-term friends and followers that have known me since the very beginning of the hobby. So if you're super familiar with these two sculpts, this is an Impel Chad directly from Impel that I just received this month on the 26th. This over here is a Sum Phalonis that I received when I very first got into the hobby, December the 28th of last year, which probably none of you have seen unless you watched some of my very beginning videos when I reviewed some bits and bobs here and there, and you looked at some of my very early photos on Instagram, because I abruptly stopped taking his photos for some very specific reasons. Because when I got the Sum Phalonis, I got him as a gift, and I very quickly learned that recasts are a very bad thing to a lot of people. Not to everybody, but to a lot of people. And they draw a lot of negative attention. And he is a recast. So when I learned this particular thing about recasts, I stopped taking his picture and I stopped sharing him on Instagram. And if you look back at his photos, I don't think any of his photos are tagged with anything, because I was new to Instagram and I was new to the hobby. So I don't even think he's tagged with BJD or anything. I need to really look at those photos, if anything, to do the right thing and tag him with recast. Because to this day, I don't take his photos and I don't share him on Instagram, just because I'm not trying to draw necessarily. I'm not ashamed of him, but I'm just not trying to draw that type of hostility and attention towards myself, because I just don't want to deal with it. But that's not why I made the decision to reshell David, and that was kind of the topic that I wanted to bring into this particular video, is why did I make the decision to reshell David if it wasn't because the original David is a recast? Well, it's a couple of different reasons. I don't think I've ever done a character video. I meant to actually look before I recorded this video to figure that out. Some of the things about David's character, which he is a werewolf, which, I mean, that can kind of be seen in this particular sculpt, because he's got the pointy ears. And I did, when he was given to me back for Christmas of 2016, he's got the full set. He's got the big clawed feet and everything that goes with the Sum Phalonis. But that still wasn't exactly what I was looking for and what I wanted. And the person that gave him to me, which was my mother, she didn't know. He was a pretty doll. She wanted to give me a doll. She liked him. She picked him up. She gave him to me. She didn't know what I wanted as a character. I made him into a character after receiving him. There was no topics and discussion. That wasn't the nature of a gift. The character came later. Because the character came later, a big part of the character for David was he's trapped. I'm going to get pinched. And there we go. That he's trapped in between, using my camera back, excuse me, my mirror back there is a viewfinder, that he is trapped in between human and werewolf and never able to go all the way in either direction. And that was one of the things that I absolutely adored about the Impel Chad. I know that that's not what Impel Doll envisioned for him as a sculpt, but I thought it fit very, very well. He's very animalistic in the face, and even with the ear sculpt and with the bridge of the nose, I thought it fit incredibly well. He's even got some detailed scarring on the chest. You can see it in the box opening, I do believe, and I'll do a body review here at some point, which will fit very well with his story later on. And I'll do a detailed story review here, or detailed story tag for David like I did for William here at some point, just not here on New Year's Eve, because I'm going to do the New Year's tag as well. But him being trapped in between werewolf and human, never able to go completely in either direction, I thought it fit very well. Stop trying to stick the cigarette in your nose. I thought the Impel Doll Chad, as soon as I found him, when I got into the hobby and started really doll shopping for myself and making purchases for myself, it's exactly what I wanted. It fit the character almost to a T. It's exactly what I wanted. He was David. So that was when I made the decision. This is who David was supposed to be. So the decision to reshell became a thing. So the process started. And I didn't even know reshelling was a thing when I made the decision to change his character. I learned down the road that putting your character into another doll was a common thing. And I learned that when I heard other people talking about reshelling a character and this long, lengthy process and the thought that came along with it and the decisions and how many shells that characters sometimes went through. Excuse me, I need a drink. Drinking coffee. Coffee and Dolly's, is it? Or is it just the story of two Davids? And I had no idea the thought process at that point in time. Of course, this was months and months ago, given this is my first year in the hobby. How many shells some characters went through. Will this be David's last shell? I have no clue. Am I happy with David's current shell? Yes. What will happen with David's old shell? He will live here. He came from my mother. It's a very dear gift from my mother. My mother is, a very important person in my life. And I would never even begin to consider throwing something away that came from her, much less even selling it. And that begins to touch on another topic. It's a recast, though. How do I feel about the fact that I now own a recast, now that I know and understand what a recast is, since I'm not new in the hobby? Well, it is what it is. I own a recast. I know and understand what they mean. I own a recast. It is what it is. The decision all comes down to is, will I purchase, and I'm sure this is the question that everyone has, will I make the decision to purchase a recast on my own? I don't know what I'm going to do in the future. Every doll that I have purchased on my own has been a legit purchase. And I hate to say it this way, and please don't take this as me being really, really snarky, and this is the way I feel about everybody. What everyone does with their own money is realistically their own business. And I feel this way about everyone. What you do with your money is your business. What I do with mine is mine. But I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what you're going to do. So I can't tell you what I'm going to do in the future. Every doll that I've purchased here so far has been an Impel doll, just because I really love their sculpts. So I have no clue. But nothing's going to happen to him. I love him dearly because he came from my mother. I have no use for him in my story. So I can't foresee me incorporating him into my photo stories at any given point in the near future. And because I don't feel like dealing with the hostility and the drama that comes with it that I have commonly seen on Instagram, I probably will not continue to share him, as I haven't on Instagram. He'll become a part of what I would consider a private collection here in my doll room, because I feel that is best. Do I think that's what others should do? No. I think if you're proud of your dolls, share them. I think my decision is my own, and I think everyone should do what they feel is best for themselves, whether it's legit or recast. I don't think that everyone's decision is best fit for everybody. I think everyone's decision is tailor-made for themselves. But this is not a discussion for that. This is about the two Davids. What will happen to this one? Is this going to be David's final shell? I don't know. So far, this is the best one. I almost got the Ring Doll Boyce, but I couldn't find him from Ring Doll or any other reseller, like Denver Doll or Doll Mix, that had him left in stock, because that was almost the one I went with. But he doesn't kind of have that in between that David really honestly needed, like Impel Doll did. But again, I'm still new in the hobby. There's probably another company that I haven't thought of that might have a anthro-like male doll that might fit him better. Who honestly knows? Other than that, that was really the core behind this video. I just wanted to kind of share, simply because I have been talking about on Instagram as of late, David's, back, he's been reshelled, he's done. And if you've not been with me since the beginning, you might not even know who David is, because it's just been the story of or posting about William and Bernard and all of them. And plus, as I do post the end of the year tag, and I do show all of my dolls, he will be in it. And you might not know who he is, and you might want to know more about him. And I'm not going to hide him. There's just no point in it. There's no shame in who he is, and I have no shame for him. I just don't post him on Instagram for obvious reasons. I don't feel like the drama. I don't feel like the chaos. There's just no point in it. But I do hope everyone has a great rest of the day. Hope everyone has a great New Year's and happy holidays. But definitely be safe. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Love one another. Love your dolls. Happy holidays. Bye.